Good morning, everybody. So this morning I just wanted to talk a little bit about Christmas. I have to admit that I love a good old nativity, Christmas nativity, and as a teacher, it's one of my favourite times of year. I love the run up to it. I love the rehearsals. I love the song learning. I love the costumes. I love learning the lines. I love the excitement of everybody getting together in a big hall, telling the Christmas story, singing and I know from some of you, many of you, the thought of that would just fill you with dread. You know who you are, but for me, it just fills my heart with joy. I absolutely love it. And I have loved it the last few years at church, at 286, being able to have all the costumes and the children running around together and the live animals. So when I thought about Christmas this year, I did feel a sense of sadness, knowing that we weren't going to be able to do things in the same way. We weren't going to all be together at 286. We weren't going to be able to have all of our singing and dancing and costumes and animals and all that kind of thing. So yeah, I did feel a sense of sadness. But then I started thinking, and if this year has taught us anything, it's that church is not our building. It's not us in our building. It's about us as a community. It's about us being out and about. It's about life together. And if Christmas isn't the time to do that out of all the times of the year, then when is? So I started just having a think about how can we then express Christmas? How can we tell the Christmas story outside of church? And this is where the creativity comes in, isn't it? This is where we have to start thinking outside the box and smashing traditions, things that we've been doing for years and years and years and we're very comfortable with, but we just can't do them this year. And I think it was last year that somebody had posted something somewhere about in their street they had put on a street advent calendar, and they had got people on their street to sign up, and they had got 24 different houses putting on a different display in their front window, as almost like a giant advent calendar. And at the time last year, I thought, wow, that's such a cool idea. I really like that. And I toyed with the idea. I was thinking about how I could speak to people in my street and set that up. But with everything else that was going on last year, with Christmas, loads of Christmas events, it just didn't happen. There just wasn't the time. But this year, there does seem to be the time. And so I started mulling on how we could potentially do something like that. Maybe not an Advent trail, but maybe a nativity trail where we had 24 houses signed up for the whole of December. And each house would have part of the nativity story, and you would go down or through or to those different houses and see their window display and read part of the Christmas story and experience the Christmas story together. And it could be for everybody. It could be for families doing the trail. It could be for couples. It could be for individuals. It could be for young people, old people, whoever. And so that is what we're going to try this year. We have organised 3 or 4 different trails that we know of. We're going to have one here in Bitton Park. We're going to have one in Shirley. We're going to have one in Swathling and on the Flowers Estate. And I think a smaller one up at the farm, Aldermore Farm. And the beauty of these trails is that because they're organised and run by different communities, each trail will have a different feel, will have a different flavour. Each window display is going to be completely different. The way that they're organised is going to be completely different because they serve different communities. So as I've just been mulling on that, it's really struck me. I've just had a few questions for myself, really. Could it be that this year more people than ever are going to hear the Christmas story, that are going to be able to experience the Christmas story and hear about Jesus? I mean, already the interest in the Bitton Park one, we've had hundreds and hundreds, about 400 people already saying that they're interested in going around this trail, which to me is just amazing. We would never have had that many people come into 286 to hear the Christmas story. Also, could it be that this year more people than ever within the church are serving and working together and putting something on together and using their gifts more than ever, more than any other year? Could that be the case? Could it also be the case that, maybe it's one of the first years that actually something's being put on where the leaders aren't organising and aren't kind of in charge of doing it all, that actually this is that communities and members of the church family and church families across the city are working together and are pushing it and are responsible for it, which to me is a really, really exciting thing. And so many different people using their gifts and skills and creativity and different, it's just a really exciting thought. Now, it might be that you're not somebody that's even heard of what's going to be happening in December, and it might be that you're not somebody that has signed up to do a house, but I really just want to just put it out to you this morning. Why don't you go on one of these trails and just enjoy one of these trails during December? Because it might be that as you start thinking and talking to God about it and just thinking to yourself, actually, I would love to do this. I could do something like this on a smaller scale, maybe with just a few people in my street or my street. Maybe not this year, maybe next year. Maybe there's another time in the year that you could join together with some other people in your community to put something on like this at Easter time, or just thinking outside the box slightly about, how can we bring church and how can we bring Jesus and how can we communicate God's love to people outside of the church building. So it might be that you feel inspired to do something, maybe not this year, but, another time maybe. So yeah, my challenge to you this morning is just, I know that Christmas is going to be different this year. We all know that. And, we could feel quite sad about that. But also, I just feel like there's a real opportunity this year for us to think outside the box, for us to, be a bit more creative about how we can join with our communities, the people that we are are doing life with, and see how we can bring Christmas and see how we can bring Jesus to those around us this year. So it might just inspire you to have a think about that today. All right, lots of love. Bye bye.